Hey folks, we are back live at livecoding.ca. My name is Nick Taylor, your host, and today I'm hanging out with my coworker Brittney Postma. Brittney, how you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Really excited to be here.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have you on here. So, I guess for folks who might not know who you are, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're up to these days?
Yeah, I think I'm up to too much. Let's see. So, what do? I can never remember. So, I'm a mom of three kids. I'm a self taught
Okay.
developer. I've been doing this for about 4.5 years now. I started learning to code when I was 35. So,
Okay.
late life change, no computer science background. Got into this and really felt a passion for it. I had a little bit of graphic design in my background and really felt like this was bringing my designs to life. And
Okay.
I loved it. I fell in love with it. So I just started teaching myself everything that I could. And I don't know, I fell into React. I got into community with React and liked that community a lot. And then I kept hearing this thing about Svelte from Scott Tolinsky on Syntax FM. And
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I kept hearing him gush about it, and I'm like, this has to be an amazing framework. So I started diving in, and as soon as I touched it, the simplicity of it made me fall in love with it. I'm like, this feels very much like just vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with some sprinkling of special syntax just to make it easier to do some things. And I was like,
Okay.
it made it simpler for me. Learning React right out of the gate made me feel like I didn't really know what was React and what was JavaScript. So I was
Okay.
always super confused about that. So that was a little bit about my background. But now I am the co founder of the Svelte Sirens, which is a community for women and non binary people and allies in the Svelte
Okay.
community to learn, build, and teach about Svelte. I do Perfect Dev, a podcast with Coding Cat Dev, Alex Patterson on Coding Cat Dev, and we do Perfect Dev as the podcast side, and then we do Code with Coding Cat as a live stream on Fridays, talking about moving that to Wednesdays. And then I stream myself at twitch.tv/Brittney Postma, on Twitter,
Okay.
pretty much anywhere you can find me at Brittney Postma. Tried to get
Yeah,
them all
cool.
the same eventually.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm laughing because I dropped a link to Svelte Sirens, but it was actually the Google search result, not the actual
Oh,
site.
don't you love Google when it does that? And I'm
Yeah.
actually probably forgetting a few things. I do so many podcasts. I do Svelte Radio. We do Remotely Interesting from Netlify.
Okay.
I do all the things. I stream basically my entire life. I actually had my daughter on stream with me this morning, and it was cute. It was
Yeah,
nice.
I saw a quick clip of it while we had our demos at work today. It said like streaming guest star, and then I was like, oh, who's that?
You just
So
wanted to see who that was, and it was my little 9-year-old daughter. We were talking
yeah.
about her. She's been going through the free code camp tutorial for HTML, and so she's been learning a little bit.
Okay.
She kind of gets bored with it. It's a little, I think it's a lot of words. It's not a lot of visual things for a 9-year-old. It's a little hard. She loves Scratch
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, Scratch is great. My youngest did it too, but there was Scratch Junior on iPad, but like Scratch itself, like she was doing it last year in school. They had to do a project where they built a game, and it was pretty interactive. It was like this game where
Wow.
there's this cat chasing chickens on it and trying to get them into a chicken coop, or it was, I can't remember if it was a cat or something else, but basically like Scratch. I mean, I know we're gonna be talking about Svelte, but just shout out to Scratch right now because like
Oh,
that
seriously.
tool is so amazing. Like if you've never seen it, just Google Scratch and MIT. That's where the project
Yep.
started, and it's interactive in terms of like you're still coding, but it's visual, so you're
It's drag
connecting
and drop.
blocks. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's pretty powerful. And
They also
anyways,
have an
yeah,
iPad app called Scratch Junior that's even more simplified for younger kids, and she has that on her tablet. So she was with me for
yeah.
15 minutes, and then she got really bored because I was doing remix. It was a little over her head. So she sat down and
Okay,
she coded something in Scratch Junior that said Svelte, and it was me and her standing there, and then we were jumping on the bed, and then it went on to this rocket ship, and it said is out of this world. So Svelte is out of
okay,
this world. So
yeah.
that was cool.
Like I said, we will get to Svelte, but I think it's cool that she's messing around with like HTML and stuff because like I remember when I first started doing web development, which is a long time ago. This is like in notepad.exe on Windows, but like I think the reason why a lot of people really enjoy web development is because you see your changes instantly. And I don't mean just yes, when you're doing local development with like modern tooling, but just like, hey, I did something, you push it to like Netlify or wherever you host your stuff, and then boom, it's there like instantly. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's a great age to be like a web developer right now, because I hear that there
Yeah.
were lots of pain points before I started, and it's a really nice era of web development right now.
Oh yeah,
And
I definitely agree.
HTML and stuff, that's actually something like we called this starting with Svelte, and that's like one of the things I kind of want to highlight is it's so nice and simple that you can actually plop the end of the free code camp tutorial directly into
Okay.
Svelte and it will run. So maybe we can
Cool.
show that off once we get to it.
Yeah. Like I think the thing with Svelte is like a lot of it from what I saw, because I've never done any Svelte, but all the web development stuff you already know, like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, like you can just start using that right away. And what I mean is, like, for example, if you're in React, you're using JSX, which is not HTML, even though it looks like HTML to people. This is literally like you could be on one page and then you can add script, HTML, and CSS pretty much, I think.
Yeah. So JSX is different, I think, because it has to compile itself away, correct? So it has to turn itself back into HTML. But
Yeah.
Svelte uses a superset of HTML. So it's not traditional HTML, but you can use just HTML in it.
Thank you for the follow, Coding Cat Dev. I wonder who that is.
Oh, I don't know. Who's that? Hey,
Yeah.
Alex.
I dropped a few links to where people can follow you, and that's one of them. Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's talk about maybe why somebody would start working with Svelte today. I think you touched on it, like for example, stuff like React uses something called the virtual DOM, and so like then there's this DOM diffing. So like every time it renders, it tries to render the whole component, but at the end of the day, it's just saying like, okay, you change that little piece of text in this input, so like the value maybe, and that's what I'm going to laser focus change, and it renders with that change.
And you say virtual DOM, and then somebody just starting out, do you even know what the regular DOM is, much less a virtual
Yeah.
DOM? And people just get lost. Like, I feel like people just gloss over the fact that React is such an abstraction away. And that's a lot of the way people get pushed when you're starting to learn web development and front end code, because that's where the job market is, right? So if you need a job, I still say go learn React. But I think that Svelte has that simplicity to it. Like I said, you can use just HTML. And while you're learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript fundamentals, you can learn that sprinkling of Svelte syntax to make it easier to do some of the things like the templating blocks, where you can do if and each directly in your markup, in your HTML. You can do each blocks and loop over arrays in your HTML, which is really nice. There's just like a few little things here and there that make it nice to have that additional things to make things easier for you without having to stick to just the fundamentals. So it's a way to learn the fundamentals and also have some niceties of the newer frameworks.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it
no, that's cool.
compiles to vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So once it compiles and you build that Svelte file, it's actually just vanilla everything.
Okay, yeah, and from what because I had not on my stream, but when I was still doing the Dev 2 stream, Swix was on. He was saying, like you were saying, how Svelte compiles away things. So essentially, like I was saying, for React, you're always re-rendering well, you're not re-rendering the full thing, but you're evaluating the whole thing, and then you're saying what's changed, and that's what we laser focus to change, and then the DOM updates. But in Svelte, like you said, it compiles away, so anything that doesn't change is always there. It's like the regular markup that's rendered, I think. And then if I'm changing the input value for something, that's what Svelte compiles and just enables that piece, I think. Is that kind of how it works?
Svelte gives you a really easy way to write that and bind so it's called bind value. So you bind the value of your input in your Svelte file, but then once it compiles out, it's vanilla JavaScript, and it does all of that reactivity stuff that makes it sync up under the hood for you. So it gives you this really simple code snippet to write in your
Okay.
input. But then once it compiles out, like it does all of the boilerplate JavaScript stuff to get that reactivity for you.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Cool, cool. Well, now that we've talked about it a bit, we might as well switch over to pairing view here. I'm just gonna
That's
switch us
awesome.
up here. First off, I love the Svelte site. Looks great. It's like that almost looks like it was made in Blender or something. I don't
Oh,
know what
and
it's made
I'm
with, but
Vidam, I'm going to say it incorrectly,
okay.
but he's the person who has done a lot of the artwork
Okay.
for Svelte. And I think he created this. I'm not sure what program he used to create this in. It's really nice. I love it. And this Svelte Kit site too, which we'll discuss, has
Yeah.
a looks really nice too. They've done a good job with these.
Yeah, like you said, we will talk about SvelteKit later, but we want to kind of hit the ground running with like let's just learn what Svelte is first, and like maybe go
Absolutely.
through some fundamentals of Svelte in terms of the site here. So I'll just drop a link to the Svelte site in the chat. But is there anything in here that you want to take a peek at, or I guess this is how I get started here?
Yeah, that is how we are going to get started with our Svelte app. We're actually going to create a Vite template. Normally you would run like npm init svelte at next right now because it's beta software, but that's Svelte Kit. So even though it's
Okay.
called Svelte, I think the goal is for Svelte Kit to eventually be the way for everyone to create a new Svelte app and to not use this
Oh,
Vite
okay.
template. But with the complexities and some of the changes that are coming, I didn't want to use that today.
So I'm gonna just go into VS Code here, and I'm just gonna run this here. Let's just zoom that in a bit. Okay, so this npm create, which I only started seeing this last year, but npm create's been around for like a couple years, I think. I don't think it was always there. I'm not sure.
I know, yeah. I
Uh,
I don't know. I had never seen that either before this
Okay,
command.
cool. All right, so I'm gonna run this. It's gonna run the latest version of Vite. I'm actually just gonna rename the app. Let's just call it
Not a bad
Svelte
idea.
string. All right, cool. And so it's passing in a template, which is Svelte. Okay.
So it's going
All
to go
right.
ahead and get all of those Svelte files set up for us.
Okay. All right. So let's switch there. Cool. And I'll just do npm install. Okay. And hold on a sec here. Where is it? Present. Whatever.
And
Okay.
if you hop
Cool.
back over to the browser after you get that running, I want to show one thing just underneath
Yeah.
that. If you see there, it says or use SvelteKit, the official application framework from the Svelte team, currently in beta. So that
Yeah.
Learn Svelte actually goes to, oh no, it's still going to the old one. So this is svelte.dev tutorial that will take you through the basics of learning Svelte. But they have
Okay.
a new one called Learn, I think it's learn.svelte.dev.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going to get that wrong. No, that's the new one. Learn.svelte.dev will take you to the Svelte Kit version of this, and they're still working on
Okay.
this tutorial. I'm going to drop that in the chat if people want to see that.
Okay. That's nice, so that they have a REPL here where you can just kind of mess around with stuff if you just want to learn things.
This right here is how I tell people to start learning Svelte because it is one of the best tutorials to go through and literally teaches you everything that is like Svelte specific. It walks through
Okay.
everything.
Nice. All right, I'll drop a link to that as well. I'm rolling the dice. I'm using a new web browser today on the stream. It's called Arc. I got access to it a couple days ago. I'm liking it so far.
You're rolling the dice
Yeah.
to see if something goes wrong. Live
Yeah,
coding.
exactly. Hashtag YOLO. But
Oh.
I've been pretty happy with it so far. It kind of makes the focus the website itself, like the sidebar is like over here, but you can hide it.
Oh,
And
nice.
there's just some niceties about it, like your
I do
extensions are up
like that.
here.
Yeah.
Um,
It hides
but
everything away, and so you just see the website. I like that a lot.
I don't have any invites yet, but if I do get one, I'll definitely send you one. All right, so okay, I ran the npm install. I'm just gonna open up the project now since we have it here. Svelte stream. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, first thing, maybe we could look at the folder structure, just kind of see what's in here that it gives us.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are just recommended extensions here if I hide this. So there's a few, I guess. So Svelte, okay, there's one.
Just
Svelte,
one.
I
Yeah.
think I might have this installed.
And really, what it's going to give you is some IntelliSense and some syntax highlighting. So, yeah, you already
Okay,
got it installed there.
Okay,
And
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
okay,
need those other ones. The IntelliSense is already included in the Svelte for ES Code extension.
okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, there's some other stuff which seems pretty standard. Obviously, the package, JSON, and all that. There's a JS config.json because we're not using TypeScript. So this is kind of like, it's not TypeScript, but it's giving you some of the stuff that you can see in TS config as well. Same kind of idea.
I honestly
Okay.
didn't even think about that because SvelteKit asks you out of the box if you want to use TypeScript or not. So is there not a
Okay.
way? Do you have to just integrate TypeScript yourself if you want to add it? That would stink, wouldn't it?
I wonder if you can probably just start adding TS files and then it just works maybe.
I don't know about
Let's see.
that. Probably not. Is it in the package.json? Is it even installed? It's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
not.
Well, Vite should be able to handle TypeScript, I think. So,
Oh,
yeah.
out of the
But
box, but it's
but
not
I don't
installed.
know. I don't know if it runs type checking though. Anyways, little tangent there, but I'm just seeing here what it's saying about TypeScript.
You're viewing the README file. This is something that Remix really pushes is they want you to read the README file first. And I forgot
Okay.
on my stream. I said it and then I forgot to read it. And you're doing it. It does talk
There we
about
go.
TS.
Look, Ma, I'm reading.
You're
Yeah. No.
doing
So
it.
there's there's a couple things here. There's d.ts files. These are TypeScript definition files. They're still useful even if you're not using TypeScript because VS Code. I've mentioned this on other streams, but people who don't like TypeScript, it always cracks me up because if you're using VS Code is built with TypeScript, and like so all the refactoring you have, the IntelliSense, all that's literally TypeScript doing that. So it just
I'm
kind of makes me giggle a bit when people say that. So
in the process of learning TypeScript. So I'm like very new in my journey with TypeScript. The only bad thing I have to say about it is that it makes your code so verbose that it's hard to read. But like I've been learning a lot of Remix. So Remix actually makes it
okay,
really nice to they minimize the amount of TypeScript that you have to add so it doesn't make your code look all messy.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I've been doing TypeScript for a while. It's been around since 2012, believe it or not. I started using it in 2015 because I was working at a Microsoft shop. So we just ended up, it was like early days, but like, and no joke, VS Code at the time, there was no extensions. It was literally just an editor and there was like nothing. It was
Like
just, it had type.
Notepad plus plus.
Yeah, kind of. The main difference was, I mean, it still kind of looked like this, but it had TypeScript support, and that was the main reason why we were using it. And like since then, there's other IDEs that support this, like IntelliJ and all that stuff. Anyways, going on tangents here. That's what I do.
The purpose of
But,
streaming is for tangents.
yeah, exactly. So just finishing up in just looking at the folder structure. So there's a public folder, which is where you'd put static assets, I'm assuming.
Exactly. Yep.
And yeah, and like a lot of front end projects, there's a SRC folder. And I guess where should we start in here then?
So in the SRC folder, the convention in Svelte is to have a lib folder. People say it different ways. They say it lib. I call it lib or
I say
lib
lib
because
too.
it's library. I call it lib, but that's where we would put like components, and you can even like
Okay.
nest a components folder, but it's all just personal preference. It doesn't make a
Okay.
difference. So this is the
Okay.
component that they have created for you here with the counter component, and we can go over some of that syntax if you want.
Yeah. So I guess like as somebody's kind of seen it from, well, I might have seen this before at one point, but it looks like you can write your component here. I could have sworn, or maybe it's web components I'm mixing it up with, but I thought this had to be in a template, or maybe that's Vue I'm thinking of.
That's Vue. Yep.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite things about Svelte is you don't actually need a wrapper. You don't need anything. You
Okay.
can just start writing HTML. Like I said, you could take that free code camp in tutorial thing, plop it directly into a .svelte file, and it would still work. Even the form still works.
And then obviously the script tag is where you write your JavaScript. It's just a regular JavaScript script tag. And I guess this code in there is specific to that component. Like I wouldn't be able to access that outside of this component, right?
The stuff that we have in there currently would not be able to be accessed. If we wanted to make count available to another component, we would add export in front of it. So that's the only thing that
Okay.
we would add, and we would export it so that it's accessible to another file.
And for the export, would you just do like like
right
in
in front
here,
of it.
like the usual? Okay, the regular.
And that on
So
colon
yeah.
click is really the only thing there that's kind of a different syntax. So on the colon is specific to Svelte as far as I know. There's some newer frameworks that are starting to use that colon, but we
Okay.
take like the what are they called? The JavaScript event handler things
Yeah.
on click and on all of those are on colon or
Oh, okay,
what's
gotcha.
another one?
On change or like
Yeah, any
I
of
guess.
those
Okay.
are on colon click or change or whatever else you want to put in there. And then you put in curly braces your JavaScript, and that's the function that you're calling there in that.
Okay, cool. And we'll look at this live in a sec, but basically if I click on this button, it should call increment, and then this will say count is, it'll start off 0 and then just keep it. This is like the dynamic part.
Yes, and something else to point out with Svelte, so this trips a lot of people up, is that you have to actually set your variables to something to make them update. So that
Okay.
count plus equal to 1 has to be there. You can't say, what would be another way to do that? Count plus plus, I don't think would work. I think you have to say plus equals 1. Or would plus plus increment? Does that set a new value?
Uh, if it's yeah, you could do plus plus. We
Like
can
if
do
you were
this.
setting it to something, I'm just wondering if that would actually increment in Svelte. So it has to have that equal sign to actually set it to the new value. That's what makes it reactive.
Okay. Just before we continue, I'm just gonna initialize the repo. Okay, let's just take a peek at a couple of the other things. So we got CSS, which seems pretty standard.
Pretty standard. They just have a standard CSS, like global CSS file here. It looks like
Okay.
some basic, like normalize stuff and styles.
Yeah. Okay, and the CSS here though, this is global, right?
It is global if it is imported into app.svelte there. Actually, it would be in the script tag typically, unless they have it in the head component.
Okay, it's in here. Main.js.
It's like in the root for in React, it would be in the app.jsx or tsx file. So this is
Okay.
like the root of the Svelte file.
Okay, gotcha. So this is like React DOM.render kind of. We
Yep.
find our parent element where we want to bootstrap the app, and then everything just kind of goes in there.
Gets
Okay.
injected in there. Yep.
So we got that, and then I guess the main thing here is, well, these are just TypeScript definitions. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, so then we
So
looked
it
at
does
main.
have
So
TypeScript there. That's weird.
well, like I was saying again, this just helps with IntelliSense
Oh,
in
okay.
VS Code or other IDEs that support it. How do you write TypeScript in Svelte if they finish with .svelte?
So the script tag at the top, you would add a lang
Okay.
attribute equal to
Ah, okay, okay.
ts.
Okay,
So
interesting.
you could
Okay.
try that like in the counter component if you just wanted to try it real quick and see if it works. Do lang equal
Is it
to quotes ts, and then
okay?
maybe just on count do colon number
Yeah, I could just do that.
and see if that works.
Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be complaining, but I
Yeah.
don't know if. Let me actually take the lang off and see what happens. It looks like it supports it out of the box then.
First class
That must.
support for TypeScript.
Okay.
Not fairly new, but it is newer to Svelte because that was one of the big complaints was that it did
Okay.
not for a long time have first class TypeScript support. So I'm glad to see that.
I'm just gonna add this and just CI initial commit. Cool. All right. Now we can
Now,
get to it.
how do you do your repo creation on Stream? I'm curious. Do you use the GitHub CLI?
Yeah, I could do just repo
Yeah,
create and then well, I
that's
might
what
as
I
well
do
do
too.
it
I was
now.
just wondering.
Yeah, no, this is typically what I do. I usually do it at the end, but I can just do it now. So push this,
I'm rushing
whatever.
you. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yes, let's add the remotes. Also, for folks who've never used the GitHub CLI, I strongly urge you to try it out. It's a
Yes.
game changer. I use it for stuff like this, but the thing I use it for the most is when I'm reviewing PRs. So I just do GH space CO for checkout, and then I put the number of the PR, and it just pulls it down. Because you can do this in Git, like there's Git commands to do it, but it's very like I always had to Google it whenever I wanted to do it, and then I created an alias for it, and it still looked kind of complicated. So when the CLI came out, I
Yeah.
was like, thank you. Okay, cool, cool. All right, so I guess we should just try and start running this and see what we get.
For sure.
Okay, I'm just NR is just for npm run. It's just me
Oh,
being
nice.
lazy.
A little alias. Very
Okay,
cool.
so it's running there.
This is the
Okay.
new Veet thing, is that we have it at port 5173. And were you the one that told me this about? No, someone on my stream told me why it's port 5173. I found this out
Okay.
yesterday and I was kind of mad.
What
You're
is
gonna,
the reason?
are you ready to be mad? I hope
Sure.
this is just false. It's because it's Veet in leet code.
It's what? It's Vite in Leet code?
Yeah, 5173. So
Oh,
VIT.
okay. Okay,
Is
okay,
that
okay, okay.
somebody
Yeah,
else told
yeah.
me that it might be because there was a conflict with 3000, which I know Next.js uses Webpack and that uses port
Yeah.
3000. So maybe they wanted to change it for that. But I'm really hoping the leak code is not the reason that they messed everyone's repos up.
And for context, I'm working on a PR to fix this.
I
So,
know.
yeah, for Netlify. But yeah, well, I mean, you can a lot of the apps just use port 3000, but the thing is typically you're not building a React app at the same time as you're building a Svelte app. And like, I mean, even when you're building the same app, sometimes I think the tooling's gotten better now. So it'll say, oh, you're already running on port 3000. Do you want to run on port
Yes.
3001 or whatever?
That's something I don't like. SvelteKit used to not do that. It wouldn't like automatically try to switch your port for you. It would just tell you something's running and just kill it, which
Okay,
I
okay.
wish it would ask you and like increment it or something. That would be much nicer.
All right, cool. So we got this. It loaded up pretty quick. I know there's not much on the page right now. So here's that dynamic counter you're talking about. And so that seems to work. I do want to switch it back to TypeScript just to see if it, I mean, it looks like it should work because it's not
Just
complaining in the,
make sure it doesn't blow up.
yeah. I mean, you don't really need to put number here because it's able to infer it's a number, but
Yep.
I just want to see in terms of this. Oh, okay. So the Svelte extension recognizes it, but you still have to have TypeScript enabled.
Installed to make it
Or yeah,
compile.
but I'm sure that's not difficult to do. But
Yeah, I think you would just do it as a dev dependency, right?
yeah, but they must have like you could probably pass a parameter to the template or something to say like dash dash TypeScript or something, or I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to.
Oh yeah, in the Veet template thing that you
Yeah,
created it.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if there's, or maybe there's like a svelte dash ts
I'm
or.
surprised that doesn't just get said right in the svelte.dev thing. I wonder if I should bring that up with them and say that maybe a PR to add that, because that would be nice to have that information right there, because most people do want
Yeah,
TypeScript out of the box.
yeah, no, yeah.
Good shout
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, like TypeScript has gotten so popular. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I didn't find the transition from JavaScript to TypeScript, I didn't find that difficult, but the main reason is like I did a lot of programming in C# and ASP.NET, so like Microsoft stuff, and C#, like a lot of stuff you see in TypeScript comes from C# because it's the same creator. So like generics are, I think, one of the things that trip up people a lot in TypeScript. It's something that's been in .NET since like I think 2005 or something. So like the concept, like it. That's why I just didn't have as hard. It wasn't as hard a learning curve for me, but
That
I
word
can
scares
definitely
me.
see it. Yeah, I can definitely see how folks who might have never used a type language or are still new to web development would be intimidated though. So we got this all up and running. So now, like say I wanted to add, we've got our script here. I'll just take off the lang ts here. We've got the component here. So if I wanted to add some styling to this, is it just adding a style tag
It
or?
is just adding a style tag, and it is scoped by default to that component. So you can
Okay.
add a global tag to things to make them exposed globally. But if you want it just scoped to
Okay.
that component, that button is only going to affect the button on this
Oh,
component.
okay. So even if I use the actual HTML element
Yep.
in there? Okay.
It's still
So,
scoped. They do that
okay.
by adding a hash to the, so you'll see an S dash something
Okay.
once it goes into the browser, you can inspect it and see the S dash
Okay, let's
garbly-gook
take.
hash on there.
Okay, so it's doing like other things do, where
That's how
it's
it's
scope.
scoping them.
Okay, it kind of acts like CSS modules a bit in that respect, and obviously if I check that particular class there, okay, and then I see all my stuff in here. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So that's really nice because I think I think a lot of folks like working in components. So it's nice that you get the scope style out of the box, because like that's not something that exists. It exists in Vue as well, and probably newer frameworks or libraries, but like React still doesn't have this out of the box. So it's typically you're using CSS modules, or you know, CSS and JS, as long as it compiles to CSS. That's not
I think
running.
that's one of the things about React is because they're a library, they want to keep things as simple as possible for their library. So they let you bring whatever you
Yeah.
want, which is good in some respects, but also leads to all of these choices that you get, and it's hard to make decisions. So it's nice sometimes to
Yeah.
just be provided things out of the box.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why you have meta frameworks like Remix or Next.js and stuff. Because, like,
Yeah.
I know I don't know about Remix. They do have a styling story, but I know, like, in Next.js, you can have, like, I think you can use CSS modules, or you can use,
I think
I forget
Next
what else.
has CSS modules out of the box configured for
Okay.
you, or you can use like regular CSS styling, but you can integrate like Tailwind or whatever you want with it. Remix has stacks that they use, or you can just roll your own. So today I
Okay.
actually tried to integrate Tailwind into a Remix based Netlify app, and
Okay.
the Tailwind docs are not up to date. So there's that
Okay. Okay.
fun thing.
And is that the thing I was working on with you and James Quick a couple weeks ago? Or is that something
Oh,
different?
you know what? It might be the same thing, but I did figure it out on my stream. It was
Okay.
just adding in the links thing, but the remix docs were up to date. So I just went to the remix docs and I
Okay.
added it. So I don't know if it's a newer thing from Remix that did that, but it might be.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we've got scope style here and stuff. We've got the button, and we've got our script tag. I guess, what should we look at next, or what should we build, or where do you want to go to now?
Oh, let's see. I didn't really think about like what we could build. Is there something specific that you're like looking to build out? Maybe we can talk about things as we figure that out.
I guess we could maybe pull in some data from somewhere.
Yeah, like an API.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a API offhand.
The cat API. I like the cat
Oh
API.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
cats as a
for
service, either one. Cats as a service, I think, is easier.
okay.
Here's, oh, and you're going to
Uh,
test. I haven't used like vanilla Svelte in so long that you're going to test my knowledge. We're going to see
there
if I
we
can find something on it because I don't remember how to do it. I think we're going to have to use on mount. I'm going to have to search it.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, I've actually never used this API. There's another one that I like, http.cat. It gives you error codes for the different with cats. Like the 100 one cracks me up because it's
Oh,
like
that's
this.
great.
I refer to that a lot, just as a fun thing when
If you
folks are using
hit
it.
a 404 page, like a page that doesn't exist on codingcat.dev, I created in Figment our cat AJ is our logo.
Okay.
And so he's like upside down playing with a ball of yarn, and his face is like, like what happened?
B1 in the chat saying he didn't know about this API either.
Oh,
So
nice.
if we go to the API here, so for example, so this grabs a random cat. So whoops. Let's just copy that. Okay, and I'm going to come back to VS Code here, and I'll just add it. I guess we could create a new cat component maybe.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and do that in the lib folder.
Okay. I'm making my first Svelte component here. All right, so script.
Yep. And I think we're going to need to import on mount from Svelte. So import in curly braces on mount, camel cased.
Copilot's gonna help me out here.
Yes,
Okay,
I
cool.
love Copilot. And on mount is similar to back in the old days of React component on mount. So it's when the component actually mounts into the browser. So we'll be able to use browser APIs. So I think that if we use this, we can actually call fetch in here, just like the web standard fetch.
Okay, gotcha. I guess this cat one might not be good because it's just generating a random image. I mean, it is an API, but let me see if there's a better one where we can get like a few cats.
Isn't there a random?
Yeah, this one's random. Yeah, I guess
there's like JSON data at the bottom. API/cats.
Here. Get all cute cats.
Yeah.
Does this have images or is it just tags?
It doesn't have the images in there? I thought this was the better one. Maybe the cat API is the better one. I was using this with one of my other talks that I did on Svelte. Cat.
We can grab whichever, it doesn't matter. Random cat and JSON.
Let me find the repo. I have a repo of this somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder why it's only, well, the tags, that makes sense. I mean, we can even just show a list of tags if not, but cats tags 1, tags 2 will return all cat. Well, I guess, I think this is the URL of the cat. I think this is the image itself, because if we come back to, let's see here, random cat with type. Okay. We could do that one maybe. Random cat type. Okay, well, we could build that. That's the type there. We could build it out with, are the types in here? I'm not sure if the tags here are the types or not.
I have lost my cat API repo. I'm like looking for it. I can't find it.
It doesn't matter if we don't have cats, but we could say like get all tags, for example, and we could render the tags and just see go from there. So I'm just gonna copy this URL. Let's go back to VS Code here. So we got the on mount here, and in there we're gonna do a fetch. Let's make this async, and let's do const response equals await fetch. Let's go get some cats, and then JSON.
And then we can just kind of stitch together the src of the image when we render it. Is that what we're going with? Yeah.
Yeah, we could try that. Actually, wait, I grabbed the wrong API for that. Let's go back to here. It was this API, sorry. Get all cute cats. All right.
Tags equal cute. Cute cats.
There we go. Okay. So like we could build out something where, we get the list of tags and you click the tag that goes to this. So this is going to give us the JSON, and then so we could have our component here now, right?
We can have our component, but we're going to need to return something, right? And we're going to need a variable probably to hold it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, I'm thinking of React, so I'm thinking set state and stuff. So basically I could just say like, so could I do this, for example? Like you said, I have to give it a value, right?
You don't have to set it to an initial value. You can just let it be uninstantiated if you wanted, like that. Yeah. And then you can return, or actually set JSON equal to, okay. Like yeah, I see what you're doing. Yep. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, just to start off, I'm just gonna like output the JSON raw.
That like put. Is the server shut down, or does it need to be reloaded?
Yeah, I think did I stop it? It just keeps opening up in my sidebar thing, so I'm just gonna move that over. This is what happens when you use a new browser like during a stream, but that's all good. Okay, let's just copy it then. Okay, cool. All right, let's load this up. Okay, so we don't have our component in there yet, so let's add the cat.
So we need to add it into the app.svelte file. So this is like just the client side rendered version. This is like run and create React app. So we're just creating everything in one big file right now.
Okay, so I just need to add, I called it cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I need to import. Oh, there we go. Okay, and if I come back here, okay, so it's outputting the JSON. It's It doesn't matter
But
what
it
it looks like. I
worked.
just wanted to make sure. Yeah, so I just want to make sure we're getting stuff. So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So now if we come back here, okay, so we've got the JSON, and so if I wanted to iterate over this to build stuff, like, can I do like a map and stuff in,
So
I'm
you don't
assuming you
have to
can?
do it as JavaScript. We have what's called an each block. So I can
Okay.
teach you how to make an each block. Do you want to take the output out? You want to leave
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
all good. Yeah.
Just remove all of that and we'll want curly braces
Yeah.
and then a hashtag or a pound, depending on what generation you're from.
Yeah,
Each.
yeah.
Yep. And then we're going to iterate over whatever it is. So we're going to iterate over the JSON, which is the array that we're getting back. Is
Okay.
it coming back as an array of objects? Was that right?
Yeah. So,
So
and
each
this,
does have to be an array. So inside of that curly brace, you want to do a space. Yep. And you're closing it. Perfect.
the
JSON.
disable Copilot for a second.
I have a little
I,
button
I
on mine that I can just click and it disables it.
I'm just going to disable it temporarily. Reload required. I use it all the time. I find it super helpful. And I think you mentioned this in one of your streams, but sometimes it just gets in the way of learning. I mean, it's helpful when you're learning something too, like, but
It can be
you
really
know,
helpful or really a hot mess, depending on like what you're doing. And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
random. So okay. So now
Okay,
we've
so
got
we
Copilot off and we want JSON in there because we're going to iterate over that array of objects. And we say
okay,
JSON as, so space as, and we need to
okay,
call it something. So we can data or cats
okay.
or whatever we want to call it.
Cat data, sure. All right, okay,
Okay. And that's
okay,
it for there. So you can
okay,
create an index and stuff if you want to use that there. But now we can actually use that cat data as the singular and it will iterate over that for us.
okay, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So now
Uh,
everything inside of that block is going to be each individual object inside of that array
I'm gonna stringify it for a sec, just to see what
to
it
see
gives
what we're
again.
getting back. Perfect.
What doesn't it like?
I think that was the old one. It might just need a refresh.
Okay, did it?
Oh no, it is still complaining about
Oh
something.
no,
You saved it.
yeah. It says it's
There's
good
no
though.
errors in the terminal. Are there any console errors?
Yeah, I'll take a peek here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's an error in the app. Each only
Each.
iterates over array-like
So we must not
objects.
have an array of objects. It must, what is that
Ah,
data
okay.
coming back as? Do we need to make it an array?
Okay, gotcha. Let's take a peek.
It
That was
is an
array.
array. It's an array of objects, and then there's like more array and another array inside of it, which we would have to get to.
That's okay, but it should be an array, the actual data, and then like,
Can we console log it in the on mount and see what it's coming back as up there?
yep. All right, so let's come back here.
You might have to comment that out to get it to actually run, or it might be in your terminal. It's not in
Weird.
the terminal, so comment the markup part out.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Like this part here.
Yeah, if you highlight all of it and then just hit command or control /, yeah. I think you'll have to do
Okay, there we
oh,
go.
okay, you got it. It's
All
an
right, so it
array.
is an array. Okay, so what's it not liking? Cat data. Okay, well, let's go catdata.id at least, because we know that's,
That exists.
so, yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to do a list, I can do it outside, right? And then the
Yep,
each?
absolutely. Like
Cat
this semantic
data.
HTML.
There
Got
we
to
go.
keep it semantic.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, weird.
It's just
Oh, it
taking a
doesn't
while
like
to
it.
like hot reload and stuff and each over.
It doesn't like what's going on in there.
What
What's
if you
going on?
set JSON to an array initially?
Oh, okay.
I wonder if
What?
it's catching it before it's an array, before the data
Oh,
gets set.
okay. I think you're right. And this ties into what you were saying about Svelte needs default values, I think. Yeah, that's what it is. There we go.
Okay. So that's what it was. It was just catching that first initial value. So it depends on what it is. If you're running an H block on something, you wouldn't. You can not set them initially, but
Okay.
it would have to be something that doesn't need to be used like right
Okay,
away.
gotcha. Okay, so we're getting some. So let's just talk about the on mount. So this is like you said, like in React. Are there other methods like this? And you're saying you don't really need to do this in SvelteKit because like, is it baked in or?
There are some things you would still want to run on Mount 4 in SvelteKit, but they a lot of this is changing, which is why I hesitated to use it today. They have a load
Okay.
function that runs in routes in SvelteKit,
Okay.
and the load function actually runs on the server and then hydrates everything on the client. And that
Okay.
kind of takes care of that waiting time because once it's created, it's already hydrated. So a
Okay.
lot of the things you do in the load function rather than in on mount in SvelteKit, but load function is
Okay.
moving. So I'm going to link that
Uh,
PR just in case anyone wants to look over that RFC. It's not a PR yet, RFC, and see what is
okay.
happening because there's a lot
I'm,
of changes.
I'm just trying to see if you can load a cat by ID here because there's cat by tag.
So we could use that cat/tag. We could create an image and actually stitch together because we have the tag now, right?
Yeah. Well, this is okay. Well, we're not getting tags at. Or wait, there's tags in the.
There's tags in the data, but we're pulling
Yeah, we
back
could
more
use
than
it.
that.
Actually, we could get a random cat for one by just using this one maybe, because this one has all the tags, and then we could build the URL, and then we get a random cat.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Okay.
So we
Cool.
just switch the URL out there. That will work.
Okay, so that's gonna get us the tags, which yeah, okay, it's just an array of strings. Okay, so then tag, and let's just call this cat tags.
Oh,
Oh,
that was so
nice.
nice. Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if Svelte would be able to refactor it, but I guess that's built into the extension.
Did. That's nice.
Okay, so then we got the tag here. So let's do this. It's gonna output the tags now. If we come back here, which is expected. Okay, so now we can work on, yeah, let's build the URL. So we could
Need an
do this.
image, right? Or we're just going
Yeah.
to build the URL in there. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was thinking we could I just want to see if we can get the actual cat here. Like, where was that URL? By tag. Okay, so if we get a random here, we'll get this URL. So we could do this. It looks like
And Q,
that should.
oh, Q is part of,
Oh, yeah,
isn't that one of the
that's the tag.
filters? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tag. Sorry. Okay, so we got that. And I think that should give us the list of
I don't think you
cat
saved the file.
URL.
Oh, you did.
Oh, that's a setting I have in VS Code. It just as soon as I lose focus, it saves because
It exit. That's nice.
I I got burnt too many times where I was like, why is this not changing?
You're smart. You're smarter than me.
Yeah.
I forget to like add things in like that, and then I'm just sit there and stare at the screen like, why aren't you working?
Okay, so it's not finding the Christmas cat. I bet it'll find this one.
It's not finding you.
I think I know what I need to do. Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay. So I think what we have to do is because it's a URL, we need to encode the tag if it has special characters in it.
I'm glad you know how to do this because I would not have remembered that.
It's when you're doing like if you ever have query string values and if ever you can see it if you do like a Google search, you'll add spaces in your search and they'll get
Mm-hmm.
replaced with like a plus or something in the URL that actually does the search. So I
Yep.
think this should fix it. Let's take a peek. We'll try one with some funny characters. I have a feeling this will work, but yeah, okay, cool.
Yay.
All right, that's a Christmas cat. All right.
So now we have our URLs built. I think we can use that as an SRC on an image, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you probably normally wouldn't load like 100 or so images right away, but
Do some
for
pagination
fun,
in there.
yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll do an image tag like you said. Actually, we'll leave the li and we can style it after, but we'll just say like image src
There's an
equals.
extra less than sign there too.
Oh yeah, thanks. Cool. And we'll close this, and I gotta add the quote here. And since we've got a ton of images loading, I'm gonna just do loading equals lazy. So
And this is another great feature of Svelte is that it's warning you right now. It's giving you that big yellow underline. You want to hover over that?
Yeah,
Some visibility stuff there automatically out of the box for you.
Okay, so I don't have too much information to go on, but I'll just say random cat image for the tag, and I'll just have to put this in template string, and that should be it. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's nice that Svelte's got that out of the box, because like normally a lot of stuff like that, you add lint rules and stuff. Like, I mean, newer things probably cover this, like the meta frameworks, I think probably have those kind of lint rules, but it's nice that this is just out of the box like that. So I have a feeling we're going to switch over back to the browser. The images are probably going to be huge. If we come back here.
I bet they are too.
Yeah, so let's close this. But yeah, so we got all kinds of cats here. So that's pretty awesome. Whoa, what's going on with that cat? that's like, yeah, it's 2 a.m. I just left the bar, cat. I don't know what's going on there.
He's like creeping.
Yeah, yeah. Christy in the chat's asking, is Svelte just like React? I don't know if you want to answer that.
So Svelte is
Brittney?
similar to React, where it is a framework that you can use that has syntax that makes it easier to do things. So I know that cat is hilarious, B1. React uses things like JSX to do your template marketing. Svelte is a little different from React, where it's a compiler rather than, what do we call React? It's not a compiler.
Well, it's a... Yeah, it uses the virtual DOM. But
it uses the virtual DOM to diff. Yeah. So Svelte compiles all of your code into vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript when it's built.
So let's just clean this up a bit.
I need the cat in the beer box. That is adorable.
Yeah. So I'm going to add some scope style here. I feel cool that I'm like, yeah, I'm adding some scope style now. So let's just do UL list style none. And if we come back here... Okay, yeah, so it's got rid of the dots. I wonder why that random cat...
That first one that's coming through isn't an image. I don't know why. Maybe can we do a split on the array and remove the first one, or do...
Yeah, or I'm wondering if... method? I'll try removing this again. I don't think it'll render the image, but let's just see. Gotta get rid of that.
I think that tag needs to be dynamic. Oh, are you looking? The first one just says tag.
Yeah, well, no, I removed the encode URI component to see if that was causing issues, but it's not that. So maybe I know what it is. If we go back to, you're right, we do need to remove the first one because...
You're not in JavaScript though right now. In there. You're just in a string, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, if we go back to that list, where was it? Here. The first one's an empty string. That's why it's not finding anything. So
can we remove that one with an array method? So in that SRC, the encode URI component tag is just a string right now. Doesn't that need to be in JavaScript? You need a $ brackets around that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I undid it, I forgot to put that back. Thank you. Okay, that's good there. And I'll just do a dot filter, and then we'll just say tag not equal to that, and we should be good if we come back here.
Nice. But it filtered out some of the other ones too, I think. Or is it just a random list?
Maybe the order is different, but this is only filtering out. Maybe there's other ones that are empty, but I don't know.
Okay.
But I know what you mean, because that cat there wasn't the first one.
No, it was way down there. And I don't see the Christmas one anymore. The ones with the hashtags are... Oh, no, there it is.
Oh, there's a Christmas one.
It just took a long time to load, maybe. So maybe we should make the images smaller.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to see well, they're all different sizes, but just for stream's sake, let's just do width. Actually, let's do height. Height equals, let's just say 200 pixels. Oops. And then I'm just gonna add here aspect ratio 6. Is that how you do it? I think so.
That's fancy.
Whoops. Oh. Okay. Whatever. We got skewed
cats.
Yeah. This one's a keeper. I feel like somebody's gonna put a meme and give him a knife or something, because he looks like he's about
Do
to
you
stab me.
use a lot of CSS Grid?
Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah, there's
I was
CSS
going to see if we
Grid.
could put this in. Do you know the RAM function?
Not offhand. I'll get you to teach me it though.
Okay.
So let's do display grid, and
We'll give it
then
a gap of like one rem, something like that.
yeah, display grid list style none UL. That should be good.
I think that L at the end instead of the semicolon is going to break that.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me with fat fingers. Okay, so we got grid here. We got the gap. Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, Flexbox is great too. They have different applications, but the fact that they both have gap now too is pretty awesome. Because like this is kind of stuff you always used to have to do, kind of workarounds, and this is just nice that you get this out of the box because it handles the case where like you don't have to worry about the top and the bottom. It's just like one rem everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. I love that gap is available in Flexbox now too. But the RAM function is grid dash template dash columns. So we're going to create
Okay, yeah,
some
the grid
columns.
template columns. Yeah, this I know. Okay, I know the min max, but this one I don't know. So what's it
So
called?
it's RAM. It's repeat, and that
Like
is a
that?
function. So, that's the acronym for it.
Okay, okay.
Repeat is the function. And then inside of the function, we're going to do auto dash fit, which is the A.
Yeah.
Oh, auto dash fit, like a
Oh
hyphen.
yeah, got you. Yeah, got you. Sorry.
And then is it comma?
I've used the repeat for, and then you're gonna
No.
do like one
We want to do
fr.
min max in there. And then function for that. And then in here, we want to put whatever width we want first, and then comma
Yeah.
1FR. So whatever
200
width you
pixels.
want the images to be.
Okay. Yeah, you were throwing me off when you said RAM. I was like, what is that? So okay, so oh, repeat auto fit min max is what you meant. Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not cool enough to be in the CSS
Una
crowd now.
Kravitz came up with like the RAM thing, and I'm trying to see if I actually did it right. I don't know if the comma is supposed to be there. So repeat. I think it's just auto fit space min max. Oh no, I
Okay.
think maybe the comma is right. I
It's
haven't
doing the
written in a
grid.
long.
It's doing the grid gap correctly. It's oh, you gotta put the number of columns. So like we could do like two.
It's doing it on the li elements and not on the images. Is that
Oh
why?
yeah, yeah.
Oh no,
Well,
because the list items are each individual grid item.
yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, the image, even though the image is in the li, this would still be. It's still fine to do it on the li, but
That
don't you
too
need
shouldn't need
these?
to be there because the autofit will actually fill it. That's why I'm thinking that the syntax that I have there is wrong.
I'm just gonna switch it to two temporarily. Okay, yeah.
Repeat autofit comma min max, and then you put your base value comma 1FR. So we put 200 pixels and 1FR. Can we inspect in the browser? Oh, you
Yeah.
put 2 instead of autofit again.
Oh yeah, I put it back. Sorry. There
Okay.
we go. Okay, so if I inspect, and for folks not too familiar with the CSS tools, let me just get rid of this. Okay, so let's look at one of them here, and we can look at the computed.
Let's go up to the UL and in the markup and see.
Okay.
We've got our grid, and then it should be making columns for each.
There's column gap, so that's the one rem.
Uh-huh.
The display is grid, so that's good. Grid template columns. So it's saying 229.766.
Yeah, it's automatically filling to the width of the. So what is the width of the container that is in? The UL
Yeah.
is
Oh,
that just. So
oh
maybe
yeah.
the
I
width
didn't
is.
set one, but we can take a peek. Width. Oh, it's being set, but I'm not setting it anywhere.
It's
So
being
why is that?
set by something, a parent probably.
Okay.
So maybe
That's
if
weird.
we did width 100 VW or something on it, it might.
Oh, you know what? I bet you the app component has a fixed width. So if we go to app.
Yeah, because it had all that CSS. It could be in the app.css too.
Yeah, here. Wait, logo. Oh yeah, app.css. You're right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So let's do width. Yeah, min width 320.
Min width shouldn't be causing that though, because that's just the minimum width of the body, which is,
Yeah.
why do we have a minimum width on the body?
Oh wait, there's a max width. There
Max
we go.
width of
Yeah,
300,
here. So
of
let's just
1280.
take that off. Weird. Okay, it did something different now, but we're currently debugging CSS now. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
It's fine. We don't have to debug any more CSS. I thought I was going to be cool
Yeah,
and
yeah.
show you a neat trick, and it's just not working, which is typical.
That's all good. It's all good. You know what? Why don't I just go YOLO and I'm gonna comment all the CSS out here.
Bye.
All right, there we go. All
I
right.
think one of them got. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so there we got. Yeah, there's something in there. So we're definitely getting. It's spreading it auto fit now. I'm still not sure why the gap
The
doesn't
gap
apply.
isn't working. Yeah, it should be working between each li element as well. So I don't know what is
Yeah,
overriding that. The auto
yeah.
fit shouldn't do that. You could change that to autofill. That might space it differently. You can use autofit or autofill. I usually use autofit though.
Okay, but clearly, again, this is like you were saying. This has nothing to do with Svelte. But if you're ever like, why
No.
is my CSS not doing it? Check a parent, or there's specificity somewhere that's just throwing you off, and you're just like you're completely unaware of where it is. But
I used to be kind of a CSS expert, and that was what I spent most of my time doing. And I have lost it. Like I've started diving into Svelte and all this other stuff, and lost all my CSS touches. Just
okay, that's not
sad.
changing.
I
But
don't know why the gap is not working.
it's all
That
good though.
should
It's
be.
all good. I could, yeah,
You could do like a margin inline on the image and give them a margin just automatically.
yeah. I could just do margin. Do this and let's just comment that out.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do it all the way around. Yep.
Oh, see, it's not doing it either there too. So, anyways, we're not gonna sweat through it too much. I don't think.
I think the images themselves are overflowing because the width is not set, so it's automatically like filling in the width because it
Yeah,
doesn't know we didn't set the width of the image. So I guarantee you, if you set an image width on there,
yeah. It's because I put the aspect ratio. I thought it would cover it, but maybe it's not the case. But let's just add a width. Width equals
aspect
200
ratio
px.
CSS. Let me see if that was.
All right, yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay, we're good there. So we've got our cats. I,
That
I can't
is how
stop.
you do aspect ratio, but 16 by 9 makes it that stretched. 1 to 1 might have been what we wanted there.
Oh yeah. You're right. This cat is killing me. Like, if you learn anything from this stream, is that this shady cat is just funny. This one right here. It's. I can't stop looking at it.
It's hilarious. And there's two of them. None of
Yeah.
the other ones got 2 blocks, but that shady cat.
Yeah. B1's like, yeah, that cat. I am curious though if I just do 1 to 1 and get rid of this.
Yeah,
And
because
then
the
we'll
width
move
is
on from
actually
there.
constraining it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All
Yay.
right.
Debug
All right.
CSS success.
All right. So GCI, we got cats.
We got
All right.
cats.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, we had a little fun there. I enjoyed doing that. But so we talked about the on mount. There's probably a lot of other things. Like I imagine, like in JSX, you can have conditionals and stuff. Can you
Yeah.
do if as well?
You can do if blocks as well. Just like we did if, we could, or
Okay.
just like we did each, we could do if, and then
Okay.
there's else if.
What I'll do is I'm gonna remove the filter where we're getting rid of the empty
Oh,
tag,
good idea.
and we can try the if then maybe. So
Yep. So right
um,
inside of there, we want to do the curly braces. And I'm
same
gonna see if you
syntax.
can get it. Yep. Same
Okay, cool.
syntax here.
If tag not equal to, I can use JS syntax like that, right?
You can.
Okay.
Yep. And then once you're inside curly braces in Svelte, that is JavaScript. So you're in JavaScript land.
Oh,
You can run
okay.
any JavaScript that you want.
Okay, cool. So if I save that, okay, cool. So that works. And then I could this one won't work. But I'll just say if it equals, just to show that we're
You
going to
won't
have
see
one
anything, right?
we'll get one broken image. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Okay.
Roll Tide, Michael Jolly.
Yeah, roll tide. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Triple B? It's a mouthful to say bald bearded builder, so I forget which stream
I
I
gotta get
was
an
watching.
Alabama sticker for my board. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, it's all good. I just call him Triple B instead. It's just easier to say, and it also makes him sound like he's a WWE champion. Triple B took out Triple X, or I don't know.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, but
Nice.
thanks for popping by. Roll Tide for sure. Okay, cool. So we got that going. Okay, so we've got the each, the if. Like, what other kind of special tags are there like that in Svelte? Like, we don't have to go through all of them. They can check out the docs, but like, what are like the each replaces the map in React. The if is like the conditional.
So we
What
don't
other
have the
kinds of things
weird
can we do?
dollar or like ternaries where we do and in React. Like we don't have to do any of that. This is readable to me. Like you can actually look at it, and even though it's not traditional HTML, you can kind of see what's going on with this. The other template blocks that we have in Svelte are await, so you can do async await right in your markup. You can
Yeah.
do key blocks where you can get the key or index and do things. We also
Okay.
have at HTML, so you can render HTML at
Oh no
debug,
way.
at const, so you can create new variables inside of your markup.
Okay. So the HTML one's kind of like dangerously set inner HTML in React, I imagine. Uh,
Absolutely. So if you're getting
yeah. Okay.
HTML back from an API, or like you have a content management system, you can do at HTML and whatever. Like if you're iterating over your data and you have that content, that data coming back with the HTML, you just do at HTML and grab that, and then it
Okay.
works.
I'm gonna just for fun. Let's do one. So let's just say like button YOLO / button. It's not gonna do anything. But how do I bring this in?
So you want to do it on top of the each block so we can see it above it, maybe?
Yeah.
And then
And
it's going to be the
th-
curly braces again. Sorry.
oh no, it brings up a question. Like,
Yeah.
if I were to have two tags here, like if I had like a BR here and that in React, you need to have a fragment. I'm
hmm
guessing Svelte just says you can do whatever you want and it handles that.
Any markup it handles. You don't need a wrapper. You don't need any kind of
Okay,
like fragments or functions around it. One of
that's
the
nice.
things I love the most about Svelte is that it feels just like an HTML file.
Okay, cool. No, that's good to know. Okay, so yeah, so if I want to bring it in, it's curlies again,
Curlies,
and
and then it's
then
at instead of the
oh, okay,
hashtag.
okay.
HTML
Oh yeah. Okay. And
and
then
then
just
markup.
paste in the variable. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So if I come here, we should see our YOLO button. Okay, cool.
Yay.
That's really nice. And I mean, obviously this is a silly use case I just did, but I imagine this is the kind of thing that would be super valuable if you're pulling in CMS content or stuff where you trust what the markup is and
Uh-huh.
you're just YOLO render kind of.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, no, that's cool. And
The host name.
I
Oh, is it
I
Cats
want
as a Service? Is that the one that you're talking about, Jolly?
yeah, that's what we
He's
were looking at before.
he said the host name in that URL had me second taking for a second there. And he's got the cats with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
It does, like if you look at it the wrong way though, it does say something.
Yeah,
I just
I
realized that.
don't know if I want to see catass.com because that especially on my work computer, but anyways, we'll leave it at that. Not that I'm prude, but I also don't want to be banned from my well, I think Twitch is pretty liberal, but anyways.
Hilarious.
Maybe that's a future hackathon Triple B for deep gram and cat butts. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anymore. Anyways, the question I had is so we've got like the pound each, the pound if. Is there any reason for the at instead of a pound? Like I'm assuming it just handles it differently based on that, but
I really don't know the reasoning behind it, but it kind of, for me, like I think of it as you're rendering JavaScript stuff with the pound.
okay.
but the at is actually when you're doing, well, I don't know, there's at const too, so that's declaring a variable. So that's, I don't know, I'm guessing here. I have no
Yeah,
idea
no
what
worries.
this.
I'm sure there's a reason. I was just
I'm
curious.
sure
But
there is too. You might have to ask Rich Harris.
yeah. Hey, Rich, if you're listening, I'm gonna just for fun. I'm gonna try running a script as the trusted markup. I'm assuming this will work as well. Or what's it complaining? Unterminated string constant script.
I wonder if script is reserved and you
Oh
can't.
yeah. Oh no, this is okay. This is speaking of old school web development. If you wanted to inject script tags like this is what you. Okay, no, it's 100%. It's because it's a script tag. So what you
Okay.
would do is you would still have to do this today, but you can do something like this, and then it it looks super silly,
But
but
it
this will
wouldn't
work.
catch it
Or what's it complaining about now?
because now it's not a string. I think
Oh
you'll
no,
have
no,
to
it's
put it.
no, it's because I there script plus script. What is it not like? Who knows? Maybe it's detecting the script tag. I don't know, but this should in theory work. But but you're 100%. Oh no, I know what happened. For some reason, it changed the script up here. I think when I put the script tag, it somehow tried to format and it got messed up.
Yeah.
So this
See,
should work. But if you ever have to inject a script tag in a
you're
script
teaching people
tag,
how to be hackers.
yeah,
Dirty,
exactly.
dirty hackers.
Okay, so the interesting thing is it looks like it doesn't process the script tag because
Well, good spelt
it's,
for sanitizing the HTML.
yeah.
I wonder if it
I mean, I
does.
wouldn't recommend doing this anyways, but this is what you used to do sometimes. But, anyways.
It doesn't say anything about sanitizing it, and the text expression characters like less than and greater than are escaped. HTML expressions, they're not. I'm just reading the doc saying Svelte does not sanitize expressions before injecting HTML. If the data comes from an untrusted source, you must sanitize it, or you are
Okay.
exposing your users to an XSS vulnerability.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's all good.
I just
All
wanted to
right.
double
Cool.
check on that because that's a good thing to point out.
Yeah. Okay. It's
YOLO
I
cat.
could stare at these cat pictures all day. This is killing me.
I thought
Okay.
it was a
Cool.
pretty
Cool.
good API when I was using it. I'm like, there's some funny ones in there.
Yeah. No, I think I'll use this in future streams. We're almost at time here. I'm wondering, like we touched on mount. There's obviously a ton more. Folks can check out svelte.dev. Um, we got about like 6 minutes left. Do you want to kind of touch on SvelteKit a bit? I know we didn't go into it today because we wanted to kind of look at some fundamentals of Svelte, and you also mentioned there's a bunch of changes coming in SvelteKit.
If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, we would have been creating a SvelteKit app right away. But I linked earlier,
Okay.
I will link it again for everyone. There is an RFC about changing the entire routing structure of SvelteKit. So we're looking at
Okay.
doing nested routing now, which is really nice feature. Next.js is adding it, Remix has it. Like those are the things that we want in our applications, but it's doing a lot to
Yeah.
change like the files names and things. And I didn't
Okay.
want to do that in the old way. And then someone come and watch the stream and be like, oh, this doesn't look the same. So I'm refusing
Okay.
to
Okay.
make any more SvelteKit content until it's stable. So you'll have
Okay.
to wait a month or so. I'm hoping next month that it will be released. We've been saying that for a very long time though, so I'm not trusting that either. But so
Okay.
SvelteKit is very akin to Next.js for React, for what else? Remix, Nuxt for Vue, Scully for
Okay.
Angular. It gives you things out of the box like routing. So we used to have page-based routing, but now we're going to have directory-based routing in SvelteKit.
Okay.
And you have API endpoints that you can hit and do things with, and you can server-side render, client-side render, static generation. You can do different kinds of hybrid rendering. You can do all different things with it. It's very easy to deploy a SvelteKit app too because they use adapters. So we would
Okay.
install adapter Netlify and it would configure everything for us, and we would push it to Netlify and it would just work. I was maybe
Okay.
going to talk about like deploying this, but I haven't used vanilla Svelte in so long. I've been using SvelteKit for like a year and a half. I don't even remember
Okay.
how to deploy a client-side rendered Svelte version. I imagine you would just npm run build, and then I bet you
Yeah.
could go to app.netlify.com/drop, and then with your build folder, just drop that on. I wonder if that works.
Yeah. Well, we can do it right now. We can do, so I'm just going to initialize
Nettle in it. You're
Netlify
going to do
here.
it with the CLI.
Whoops. Yeah. Just let me do, I'm going to switch to my personal account. Not because I don't want to, it's just more, I just want to apply it to, oh, and of course I just exposed my email, but whatever. It doesn't matter. People that spam us at work figure it out anyways. It's not like a, it's
Our
not too
email
difficult.
addresses are not that hard to figure out. If people wanted to
Yeah.
spam us, I don't feel like it's that difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So let's connect this directory. Sure. Use current origin. Okay, no match. Oh, whoops. I tried to pick a site that doesn't exist yet. Create and configure a new site. Yes. Nick
That one
Taylor's
always trips
team.
me up. I'm like, what are you asking me? You're going to have to
Svelte
pick one that
cats.
doesn't exist. Svelte cats,
We're
that
going
probably
to,
doesn't exist.
yeah. All right. Authorize with GitHub.
Oh, it doesn't ask me that. I wonder if I have it configured in GitHub to automatically authorize Netlify, because it doesn't ask me that question.
I sign in with work and the other one, like I switch them. I have to redo it again because.
Do you have two GitHub accounts, or is it just your personal GitHub?
No, it's just a personal, but because I'm logged in as my work account right now, though, even though I can link GitHub through it, so it's asking me to authorize, but it's saying accept my work one. So there we go. So yarn run build, yeah, sure, npm run build, that looks good. Is public the folder that
That
everything
is
gets
the
put to?
static folder. Yep.
But is it a dist folder where everything goes when it's deployed in Svelte, or is it?
I think you'll probably have to run a build locally to find that out, but we can change it in the Netlify toml after you get through that. Oh, you're going to do it in a different. Good thought.
I just want to see where it puts it. Dist.
I don't remember. Okay. Dist. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So dist. Cool. Netlify. Sure.
We're definitely getting signed up for all cat fashion related newsletters.
Yeah.
You exposed it. You're done.
Yeah. No. All right. Okay. So let's do this. NTL deploy prod. Let's see what's going on here. YOLO. And we're almost at time. So this is perfect. Okay. So we're going live with Svelte Cats. Here we go.
Let's hope it worked.
Yeah.
Yay!
It did. We got Svelte Cats. There you go. And that, yes, we both work at Netlify, but I do want to say that was a pretty quick setup to get that.
That was really simple.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's awesome.
We did that in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And it was only because I stumbled a bit because I was logged in as my work account, but cool. Now, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we got things working. I'm glad we got some Svelte Cats out there, and we've got some deployed Svelte Cats now. We're pretty much at time, so I'm going to drop some links to all the places folks can find you, including Coding Cat and perfect.dev. There's like a huge barrage of places to find
all
you.
the things. Sorry for the barrage of links.
Oh, no. I didn't mean that in a negative way. Sorry.
No, there is. There is like a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say before we call it a day. You got anything coming up soon, or like I know you stream pretty often, so.
Yeah, I'm streaming all week on Remix, so we've got 2 more days left this week that I'm streaming in the mornings, and then next month I will be in Stockholm at Svelte Hunt Summit, and I'm actually co-hosting.
Oh, no way!
So I'm going to be co-hosting Svelte Summit. I'm super excited. Yep.
I'm jealous.
Oops! Don't click that. That should just route you to Perfect Dev. That's our podcast, Lincoln. So codingcat.dev, Alex and I do a podcast called Perfect Dev, and that's what that link goes to. It's fine. I designed that site too.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I had a lot of fun here, even with our gap issues that we figured out. It's always something in the parent in CSS. Yeah. Next week, I'm going to be hanging out with Roselle Scarlett from GitHub. We're going to be doing something with GitHub Actions, Twitter, and Copilot. It's like some kind of mashup.
That sounds so cool.
So I'm not sure like if we're going to be creating like a Terminator Twitter bot or what's going on, but check that out. We've got a bunch of other guests all the way up to like, I think even to November, but I think after that we got, his name is escaping me, James Perkins. He works at clerk.dev. Yep. So we're going to be doing some stuff with Clerk in a couple weeks too. So definitely check
Incredible.
all that stuff out. And I will see you all next week, folks. Thanks again, Brittney.
Bye. Thank you.